matter around us, the continuation of the first part. Pure substances and mixtures. In shops, we find products which are sold as 100% pure. For common people, pure means unadulterated, that which does not contain any cheap or harmful additives, or these really pure substances as they claim to be. For a chemist, the word pure means something else. A pure substance is made up of only one kind of particles. Pure substance may be elements or compounds. An atom is the smallest particle that an element is made up of same kind of atoms. Molecule is a combination of two or more atoms. Compounds in the substance formed by the chemical combination of two or more elements. Is matter around us pure? So the purest form of substances may be by means of churning, sedimentation and decantation, or also by means of filtration. Mixtures. Why do we separate mixtures? To remove harmful impurities, to extract a component from other components, to obtain components in highly pure form. Matter. Separation of solids. It can be done by means of hand picking, sieving, winnowing, threshing, magnetic separation. Let us consider the following examples. We have had the snack. Can you identify and mention a few things that are present in snacks like mixture or fruit mixture? You are able to identify the ingredients in them from their colors, appearance or taste. The above one is mixture, the below one is fruit mixture, because I can able to identify with the means of colors, shape and size and smell, etc. Do you know? Purity of gold is expressed in terms of carat. 24 karat gold is considered to be gold in its purest form. We mix rice, dal, salt, chilies, pepper, ghee and other ingredients to make pongal. Pongal is also a mixture. Why do we call these as mixtures? Because they are made up of two or more ingredients or components that are physically separable. Explore. Can we always see the different components of the mixture with our naked eyes? Let us see the two pictures given below. My answer is both, because the first figure contains mixture of fruits and vegetables, and the second one I can see the water and gas which is coming as bubbles. In figure we can see and physically separate the components of vegetable salad, whereas in figure 2 we can neither see nor physically separate the components of aerated drink soda water. Try it yourself. Try to identify from the list what you think may be classified as mixture. Write yes if it is a mixture, then write no if it is not a mixture. You may also write I do not know and later discuss with your teacher. Air is a mixture because it contains oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, noble gases, etc. Milk is also a mixture of water, fat, protein, etc. Lemon juice is a mixture. Some of us like it less sweet, that is with less sugar, while some others like it very sweet, so they prefer to add more sugar. But either way, it is still lemon juice prepared from lemon extract, water and sugar, and is a mixture, though the amount of sugar added is different. Same way, even if we add extra water, lemon's extract, it will still be a mixture. A mixture need not have a fixed proportion of components. A mixture is an impure substance and contains more than one kind of particles. In the mixture, the components are mixed in any proportion. When elements chemically combine, they form compounds, whereas mixtures can be physical combination of A, two or more elements. Example, 22 karat gold which is composed of gold and copper, or gold and cadmium. B, two or more compounds. Example, aerated drink which is composed of carbon dioxide, water, sweetening and coloring agents. C, an element and compound. Example, tincture of iodine which is composed of iodine in alcohol. Separation of mixtures. Are all mixtures used as they are? Or Is there a need for separating components? Materials we use in our day-to-day life are got from different sources and are very often combined with other substances. Mixtures like coffee and ice cream are taken as such. There is no need for separation in these cases. Metals occur in the form of ores under the Earth's crust. But if we want to use a pure metal, we need to adopt a laborious process of extraction to separate the useful metal from the ore. So, what is meant by separation? The process by which the components of mixture are isolated and removed from each other to get pure substance is called separation. To get the original properties and uses of substances, we need separation. When and why do we need to separate mixtures? When we need to remove impurities or harmful components from the mixtures. Example, stones from rice. When the useful components has to be separated from other components. Example, petrol from petroleum. When a substance has to be obtained in highly pure form. Example, gold from gold mines. Let us visit Selvi's family. It is 7 a.m. and Selvi's family is busy. At home, in the kitchen, Selvi's mother is making tea for the family and her grandmother is separating butter from curds. Her father and uncle are out in the fields collecting paddy after harvesting. Selvi is helping her mother in preparing to cook rice and is separating stones from the rice. Selvi's little brother Balu is fascinated by a piece of magnet that he was given by his friend and is playing outside in the sand with it. Can you list in your notebook the different activities that Selvi's family is engaged in? Let us explore the different separating methods involved in the above activities and also learn about a few other methods. The choice of method of separation depends on the properties of the components of the mixture. The separation method may be used on the particles' size, shape or physical state. They may be solids, liquids or gases. Selvi's mother used a strainer to remove the tea leaves to get the clear liquid. Larger size particles of a tea leaves will be retained by the strainer while the clear liquid will pass through. This is called filtering. Will you discard the tea leaves after straining? Can you suggest a good way of using them? A sieve is similar to a strainer. Sieving is used when we have to separate solid particles of different size. Example, bran from flour, sand from gravel, etc. Activity 6. Think and find out. It's a good idea to separate bran from flour. Write your answer in your notebook. So I am giving a small example with balloons. Mixture is group of different colored balloons above. And separated means it will be like this. Orange balloon separately, blue balloon separately, pink balloon separately and green balloon separately. Wire mesh as a strainer sieve is used to separate gravel from sand at a construction site. When very fine insoluble solids have to be separated from a liquid as it butter from curds, churning is performed. The mixture is churned vigorously when solid butter will be collected on the sides of the vessels. Both butter and buttermilk are obtained after churning are useful and can be consumed. Threshing. We pluck flowers from a plant. When we pluck flowers from plants, we are separating the flowers from their stalks. Can we do the same for food grains like rice and wheat, which also grow on plant stalks? That would not be possible because the grains are small in size and also the quantity is very large. Farmers separate grains from their stalks by beating them so hard that the grains are separated from their stalks. This is called threshing. You can see that in the picture above. Do you know, in washing machines, this principle is used to squeeze out dirt from cloths and the method is called centrifugation. Activity 7. Have you seen how farmers spread the drained grains stalks in the middle of the road? Heavy vehicles pass on them and the grains get separated from the stalks. Write down 2 merits and demerits of this practice. My answer is 1. The merit is the grains can be separated. 2. The demerit is the vehicles can go for an accident of slipping from the crops. Winnowing. Rice, wheat, and other fruit grains are covered in husks, which cannot be eaten by us. Husk is a very light and gets easily blown away by breeze or wind. This property is made use of in winnowing. This is done by dropping the mixture slowly from a height in the presence of wind. Lighter solids, that is husks, will be carried by wind and will be collected in a separate heap, while heavier solids, that is grain, will fall closer and form a separate heap. You can see it in the picture above. If the rice that we cook has stones in it, we have to pick the stones out. Hand picking. How do we identify a stone from a grain of rice? If the stones are visibly very different from the grains, they can be easily picked and separated by hand. This is hand picking. But if the stones look very similar to the rice grains, it is difficult to separate. Do you know? Rice husks are the hard protecting coverings of grains of rice. In addition to protecting rice during the growing season, husks can be used as building materials, fertilizers, insulation materials, and fuel. Magnetic separation. In a mixture containing iron, the magnetic property of iron can be used to separate it from non-magnetic substances by using a magnet. Substances that are attracted to a magnet are called magnetic. Separating solids using magnet is called magnetic separation. Sedimentation. Rice and pulses are often mixed with very fine straw, husk or dust particles which have to be removed before cooking. Are you familiar with the way this is done at home? The rice or pulses are washed in water. The lighter impurities float while heavier rice grains sink to the bottom. This is called sedimentation. The water with the impurities is carefully poured away, leaving clean rice at the bottom. This is called decantation. Separating mud from muddy water can be demonstrated by the teacher. Muddy water is a mixture of very fine particles of soil in water. What will happen to a beaker of muddy water if it is left undisturbed for some time? Mud, being heavy, will settle down at the bottom of the beaker and will form the sediment. Water will form the top layer and is called the supernatant liquid. The setting down of heavier component of a mixture when allowed to remain undisturbed for some time is called sedimentation. You can able to see in this picture how the sedimentation process is done, and decantation process is also done. If the mixture of water and sand is undisturbed, the sedimentation process will happen. And after sedimentation, if you are pouring the water slowly by means of glass rod, that is called as decantation, and we can separate water from the sand. So this is the picture of sedimentation. This is insoluble sand which is having small dots as a red color, and after some time, which is undisturbed, clear water will be coming up and insoluble impurities will settle down. Decantation. This process is done after sedimentation. The supernatant liquid is slowly poured out from the container without disturbing the sediment. The part that has settled down is called sediment. The water that is obtained after decantation is called the decanage. The process of removal of water above the sediment is called as decantation. But even after decantation, the water is not completely free from fine soil particles. How can we remove this? By the process of filtration. Do you think a strainer or a cloth can filter these very fine particles? Do it and see for yourself. Filtration. We will use filter papers to remove the fine impurities. A filter paper has very fine pores, much smaller than soil particles. Let us see how to use a filter paper. Take a piece of filter paper, fold it to make a cone. Slowly pour the muddy water over the filter paper. On filtration, clean water filtrate flows down the funnel and mud settles as residue on the filter paper. The method of separating insoluble components, that is sand, mud, etc., from a mixture of using a filter paper is called filtration. The liquid which passes through the filter and comes down is called filtrate, and the insoluble component left behind on the filter is called residue. So this is how the filter paper has to be folded. The first one is into equal halves, and second one is that half to an equal half, and you open it, we will be getting the cone. After getting the cone, you keep it in the funnel, and the mixture of water and sand can be used by means of this funnel with the filter paper. At last, we can able to get a filtrate, and the residue will be settled in the filter paper. More to know. Combination of methods are used sometimes for complete separation. If the mixture of sand and salt in water has to be separated, several steps will be involved. The first one will be sedimentation, the second one will be decantation, third one will be filtration, fourth one will be evaporation, and the fifth one will be condensation. Activity 8, Group Activity. Students can be divided into 4 groups. Each group should suggest a method to separate mixtures and also give reasons why they used a particular method and what property of components form the basis of separation. Examples should be drawn from day-to-day life. After the group presents its method to the rest of the class, the whole class will discuss and analyze if the suggested method will work and then make note of it in the form given below. Since we are in COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, you also try individually and can make note of it. Food adulteration. Do you know? In most house, people use commercial water filter to remove not only the impurities but also to kill the harmful germs in water using UV rays. RO, a process of removing impurities from water to make it potable. Sometimes things that we buy in the market are mixed with harmful and unwanted substances. This process is called adulteration. Food can also get adulterated due to carelessness or lack of proper handling. We must be careful about the common adulterants in our consumable goods, especially in food. Consumption of any adulterated food will be harmful and can be a health hazard. An adulterated substance will not indicate the true properties of the original substance. For example, used tea leaves are sometimes used as adulterants in tea. Turmeric powder is adulterated with a bright yellow chemical which is poisonous to our health. Collect and share information on common adulterants and their detection in foodstuff in the class. Watch the YouTube video 10 simple tricks to find adult food. Keywords: matter, volume, compressibility, fluids, hand picking, winnowing, magnetic separation, decantation, adulteration, particles, mass, diffusion, mixture, threshing, sieving, sedimentation, and filtration. These are the keywords used in this lesson. Fast facts. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. All matter is made up of extremely small particles. Matter is classified into solids, liquids and gases on the basis of two important factors. A. The way the particles are arranged. B. The way the particles attract each other. Difference between the properties of solids, liquids and gases is due to the difference in the arrangement of the particles and the nature of the attractive forces between them. A pure substance can be an element or a compound and is made up of only one kind of particles. A mixture is an impure substance containing two or more components physically mixed in any proportion. Separation of mixture is done 1. To remove harmful components, 2. To obtain the useful component, 3. To obtain a substance in a highly pure form. Separation method to be adopted depends upon the properties of the components. Handpicking for smaller quantities containing particles reasonably large in size to be recognized can be picked by hand. Winnowing, adopted to separate lighter solids from heavier ones. Magnetic separation, used to separate magnetic substances from non-magnetic substance. Sedimentation, settling down of suspended insoluble and heavy solid particles, used to separate solid liquid mixtures. Decantation, process of pouring out the clear supernatant liquid without disturbing the sediment. Filtration, process of separating insoluble solid particles residue from the liquid filtrate by using a filter paper. Adulteration, make impure by the addition of foreign or inferior substances.